Good morning, good morning. Am I audible? Am I audible? In the last two classes, we did the technique to solve short passage or argument type passage. And in the last class, we practiced some questions, including PYQ, right? Now, I'm giving you more question to solve. One announcement, important announcement for those who lack in calculation things. For those, there is a recorded batch just for you can see the calculation batch uh, on KGS app, and it is hardly 99 rupees fees is there. So you can improve your calculation. If you lack calculation, then you can go through that recorded batch of calculation. This is just 99 rupees batch, and you can improve your calculation. So I have seen many of you basically lack in calculation, right? And so you can go through that batch. You can see that batch. Okay. Now I am coming to questions. I am coming to questions. Question is this one. Try this question. Try this question. This is evaluate question. This is evaluate question. Because I requested the management to upload that batch. I felt like many of you lack calculation. So I requested the management to upload that recorded version. It's visible clearly. I can see in my app. Uh, I can read recently the tuition at most elite private college has been rising faster than inflation. This is tuition fee, in fact. Even before these increases, many low and middle income families were unable to afford the full tuition cost for their children as these institutions of higher learning. With the new tuition increases, these colleges will soon cater solely to a student with affluent family background. Which of the following would it be most useful to determine in order to evaluate the argument? So what is there? Evaluate that. So you have to find that option. You have to find that option. I have told you which should be two-tailed. That option should have two tail. One tail should support the conclusion, and other tail will go against the conclusion directly or indirectly. I repeat, in evaluate question, you have to find that option which is two-tailed or which has two tails. I have told you already, one tail should support the conclusion and other tail should go against the conclusion, directly or indirectly. Yes, Jyoti Jagyan, you can watch. Have you gone through the first class? Try this. Tell me what is the answer. I have given you 4-step process to solve such questions. I am seeing your answer. I am seeing your answer. अरे रोज ये कहने आते हो तुम लोग कि कल की क्लास नहीं चली। 24 घंटे लगता है भाई चलने में। क्लास तो लाइव करते नहीं हो, रिकॉर्डेड करते हो, और ये आने कहते हो आके मैसेज में कि कल की क्लास नहीं चल रही है। कॉल हेल्प, कॉल सपोर्ट। इतना एडहॉकिज्म है तुम लोग की पढ़ाई में, कुछ लोगों की, मैं कह नहीं सकता हूँ। ये देखो भानु जी शुरू से पूछ रहे हैं, मैंने कहा मैसेज देख रहा हूँ, हाउ मनी क्लासेज चले। क्या करोगे इससे तुम? तुम्हारे लिए आज ही लास्ट है, चले जाओ। हाउ मनी क्लासेज आर लेफ्ट? पढ़ना तो है नहीं। इट्स ओवर फॉर यू। Some people just write chat just to irritate me. If you don't want to continue, you can go. पास करना है तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो बस फेल ही करोगे। और क्या करोगे? Shankar Chauhan ji, there is some technology. Do you understand technology? क्लास जब लाइव होता है then it get encrypted and it takes time. तुम लोग को लगता है बटन ऑन किया और क्लास रिकॉर्डेड आ गया ऐप पे। There is a technology behind. ये 2 मिनट मैगी थोड़े है। You people are literate. Still you people talk like this. Hundreds of classes are conducted daily, hundreds of classes live, and all of those are encrypted, then get uploaded on the app, and hundreds of people are working behind the scenes. तुमको तो लगता है कि बस तुम लोगों को बस ऐसा ही है, switch on and class uploaded. Okay, you are so much busy, then recorded classes will be uploaded. You watch recorded classes. Okay, now I'm telling you answer. Now I am telling you the answer. See, recently the tuition at most elite private colleges has been rising faster than inflation. Means what? Fees is rising more than inflation. Even before these increases, many low and middle income families were unable to afford the full tuition cost for their children at these institutions of higher learning. Even before these increases, many low and middle income family were unable to afford the tuition cost for these uh, their children at these institutions of higher learning, right? With the new tuition fee increases, these colleges will soon cater solely to students with affluent family background. The last line is the conclusion. The last line is the conclusion. Okay, and the first two lines you can say premises, support for the conclusion. Now they are asking which of the following would it be most useful to determine in order to evaluate the argument. In order to evaluate the argument, right? So I have told you in evaluation question what you have to do. You have to find that option which has two tells. One tell should support the conclusion directly or indirectly, and other tell should go against the conclusion directly or indirectly. Indirectly means one tell should support the assumption, some assumption of the author, and other tale should go against the some assumption of the author, right? So, in a way, I have told already this, again I am repeating, if one tale support the assumption, right, means one tale is supporting conclusion indirectly, and other tale should go against the assumption, means other tale go against the conclusion indirectly. These things I have already repeated in previous classes. Again, I am repeating. Okay. Now, see, you know the conclusion with the new tuition increases, these colleges will soon cater solely to a student with affluent family background. This is the conclusion. Now, you can see the first option, whether a student from affluent families are more likely to prefer public or private colleges. Now, in the argument, they talk about private colleges. Their argument is not talking about public colleges. So, obviously, answer should be related to private colleges. So, you can ignore this option. B, whether a student from low and middle income family are qualified to attend elite private colleges. There is no such qualification in argument. They are not talking about argument, they are talking about affordability. So you can ignore this. C, whether low income family are less likely to be able to afford tuition cost than middle income family. So here there is a comparison between this low income families and middle income family. But here low and middle income family have been clubbed in one group only. So there is no distinction here. So you can ignore this, eliminate this option. Now, obviously D is the right answer. Now, why D is the answer? Whether grants or a scholarship are earmarked for a student from economically disadvantaged families. Economically disadvantaged family cover this group. Now, why this is two-tailed? This option has two tail. One tail is whether is there. One tail is if grant or a scholarship are there, then obviously the student from these groups, this low and middle income group, can get admission, can afford to support the conclusion. Other tail, if grants or a scholarship are not available, then they cannot afford. They cannot afford, right? So two tails, this option has two tail. One tail, grants or scholarship are there, they can attend the college, and scholarship are not there, they will not attend the college. So first tail support the go against the conclusion, and second tail support the conclusion. That's why D is the right answer. D is the right answer. Okay. Okay. Now you can try this question. Or we have done this, or this question. This question. See this. See this question. Here argument is there. Now I am just telling about the question. Which of the following must be assumed in order to conclude that country N will succeed in its plan to reduce its dependence on foreign oil? Means out of these four options, what can be assumed out of these four options which will support this conclusion? That you have to find. Now do. Take some time to do this question. I have told you the four-step process. First, see the argument. Second, see the question. Third, set the goal, what you will find in the option. Fourth, eliminate the wrong option, get the right option. So you have to do this process. You have to do this process. Majority of you are giving B as the answer. B is not the right answer. So first, see the question carefully and see the option carefully. Then you can answer. I'm seeing your answer. I'm seeing your answer. Okay, now I am telling you the answer. See, country ends oil production is not sufficient to meet its domestic demand. Okay, in order to sharply, obviously, if country N oil production is not sufficient to meet its domestic demand, means the country N will import to meet the demand. Now, in order to sharply reduce its dependence on foreign sources of oil, country N recently embarked on a program requiring all of its automobile to run on ethanol in addition to gasoline. So, to reduce dependence on foreign sources of oil, country N recently started a program requiring all of its automobile to run on ethanol in addition to gasoline. And so the country N started this program just to reduce dependence on foreign sources of oil. Okay. Next is combined with its oil production, country N produces enough ethanol from agricultural byproduct to meet its current demand for energy. Means currently country N is producing enough ethanol as well as gasoline to meet its current demand. To meet its current demand. Now, which of the following must be assumed in order to conclude that country N will succeed in its plan to reduce its dependence on foreign oil. So here the last line says what? Current country N produces enough ethanol as well as gasoline to meet its demand. Now, out of these options, what could be assumed so as to support this conclusion that country N will meet in future also its demand? Okay, so you have to see supply and demand both side. The supply of gasoline and ethanol and demand of this oil. Electric power is not a superior alternative to ethanol in supplementing automobile gasoline consumption. This does nothing to this conclusion. In country and domestic production of ethanol, in country and domestic production of ethanol, in country and domestic production of ethanol, is increasing more quickly than domestic oil production. In country and domestic production of ethanol is increasing more quickly than domestic oil production. Many of you have given this answer. If this is assumed, then it will support this country and will succeed in its plan to reduce its dependence on. It is just saying ethanol production is increasing more than oil production, more than oil production. By assuming this, can you say that country N will succeed to meet its demand? No, it's just saying ethanol production increasing more than oil production. What does it mean? It means that it supports that country N will meet its demand. Nothing. It will not do anything to the conclusion which is written here. C. Ethanol is suitable for the heating of homes and other appliances aside from automobile. It does anything to meet the demand in future? No. In country and gasoline consumption is not increasing consumption at a substantially higher rate than domestic oil and ethanol production. Means, see, the last line is they are meeting almost current demand with domestic production of ethanol and gasoline. Now, for future, it is saying demand, this is consumption, is not in demand, demand as well as supply. Roughly, they are increasing at same rate, that you can say same rate. So, if you assume this, the D option, obviously, it covered both demand and supply side. So, if you assume this support the conclusion that is country N will succeed in its plan to reduce its dependence on foreign oil because demand is not increasing at a substantially higher rate than production. So, demand is almost similar to supply and currently country N is meeting its demand, that is written in the last line. If this is assumed, somehow it will support this conclusion. Right, so D is the right answer. D is the right answer. Go through this and see. See, these are the question little difficult than the question asked in the exam. Just I am giving you this question to understand how to attempt question if difficulty is there, if a difficult question is there. If you are able to solve such question, you must be able to solve question of exam also. Okay. Now see another question. Do this. श्रेया शुक्ला एग्जाम में लॉन्ग पैसेज होता है। फर्स्ट क्लास में बताया था मैंने क्या पैसेज होता है। ऐसा ही पैसेज होगा मोस्टली, छोटे छोटे वन पैराग्राफ वाले और हाफ ऑफ द पैराग्राफ वाले। लॉन्ग पैसेज एक दो ही होते हैं, दो तीन से ज़्यादा नहीं होते। आई डोंट हैव आइडिया अदिति सिंह, हाउ विल आई नो? आई टेक क्लासेस फ्रॉम स्टूडियो, नॉट इन ऑफिस। Here the question is which of the following, if true, most weaken the owner's conclusion that a merger will increase revenue. Means you have to find that option which will go against the conclusion. Means the merger will not lead to increment in revenue. Either revenue will remain constant or less. That you have to find. कौन से पीवाईक्यू में कौन से साल में देखा है रियाज शुक्ला? कौन से साल में देखा है? वन पैराग्राफ होता है, मैक्सिमम टू पैराग्राफ होता है. एंड वी आर डूइंग पीवाईक्यू ऑल्सो. अभी पीवाईक्यू भी करेंगे. Okay, many of you have given correct answer. Now I am telling you the answer. The owner of a bookstore and a nearby coffee shop have decided to combine their businesses. Both owners believe that this merger will increase the number of customer, and therefore the gross revenue. Because customer who come for one region may also decide to purchase something else. Okay, so understood this argument that owners of bookstore and nearby coffee shop have decided to combine their business, and they assume that customer coming for suppose coffee will purchase book also, and customer coming for book will purchase coffee also. They assume like this, and so our number of customer will increase, and therefore gross revenue will increase. Now you have to find that option which will go against the conclusion that gross revenue will increase or number will increase. A. Book and drink can both be considered impulse drink purchases. Often they are purchased by customer without forethought. Okay, yes, it's true. It's true. Impulse means without thinking much, you purchase a book or you purchase a coffee. That's what they are saying. So somehow it is not weakening the conclusion, it is somehow supporting the conclusion. Impulse purchase if the number increases, the gross revenue will increase, because assumption is that for owners that one will come for book, will buy coffee, and suppose some other person are coming for coffee, will purchase books. So impulse purchase means this somehow supports the conclusion. Okay, so this is not the answer. Profit margins at a coffee shop are generally significantly higher than profit margin at a bookstore. They are not talking about profit margin, they are talking about increase in numbers and gross revenue. So it does nothing to the conclusion. It does nothing. Neither weakens nor supports. C. People who are able to read the first chapter of a book before buying are more likely to decide to buy the book. Somehow supports the conclusion, because suppose someone is there to purchase a coffee, and there is a look over a book, and person started seeing the pages or first chapter of the book, and decide, okay, we should buy, or I should buy this book, this is good for me. So somehow this support the conclusion, so this is not the answer. So obviously D, a large majority of books current customer base already frequent the coffee shop. Means if you see this, means if the two businesses are merged, significant number of customer will not increase, and therefore gross revenue remains same or slightly better, or slightly better. So somehow this weakens the conclusion. So D is the right answer. D is the right answer. I hope you understand this. Right? Got it. See, I am explaining every option just to let you know why that option is wrong. And this will help you think why that option is wrong. I've told you some option might be out of a scope, some option might be irrelevant to the question asked. Already I have told you these things. Okay, now try some question from PYQ. Do this. Think of this. I'm seeing your answer. I'm seeing your answer. And most of you have given correct answer. Okay. Uh, See, what is the question? This is a sensitive issue-based story which try to sensitize the readers about what? So this story purpose is what? For which issue this story is sensitizing the readers? Set against a rural backdrop, stench of kerosene is the story of a couple, stench of kerosene couple, and Guleri and Manak, who have been happily married for several years but do not have a child. Manak mother is desperate to have a grandchild to carry on the family name. Okay, carry on the family name. Hence, she gets Manak remarried in Guleri absence. Why? Because Manak mother is desperate to have a grandchild to carry on the family name. Okay, Manak, who act as a reluctant but passive spectator, is meanwhile informed by a friend that Guleri, on hearing about her husband's second marriage, poured kerosene on her clothes and set fire to them. Manak is heartbroken and begins to live as if he were a dead man. Right? When his second wife delivers a son, when his second wife delivers a son, Manak states, नहीं है ये stares at the child for a long time and blurts out, speaks out, take him away, he stinks of kerosene. So the story is sensitized about what? Manak mother need a grandchild to carry on the family name. That's why she gets Manak remarried. So to satisfy her desire to have a grandchild, she get her son remarried. And what happened after? What happened after? So to sensitize about what? Male chauvinism? No. Love and betrayal? No. Lack of legal safeguard? No. So D is the right answer. सी कुछ लोग सी आंसर किए होंगे बट यहाँ पर स्टोरी किस चीज के लिए सेंसिटाइज करता है कोई लीगल की बात तो थोड़ी हो रही है यहाँ पे इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ पैट्रियार्कल माइंडसेट इसी माइंडसेट के कारण ये सारा चीज हुआ तो डी इज द राइट आंसर गॉट इट check this which among the following is the most logical and rational inference rational unbiased that can be made from the above passage. So evidence family question. Here in the passage, you have only premises, support, right? So on the basis of that, which inference, which option can be better logical and rational inference? What is A option? Male chauvinism समझते हो? मेन को डोमिनेट करना. What is patriarchal here? अरे यार तुम लोग को पैट्रियार्कल मैट्रियार्कल ये सब नहीं पता है. Patriarchal society, matriarchal society, Rajat, you don't know. Google and see. Male chauvinism means male dominate करता है. That is male chauvinism. अच्छा ठाकुर, तुमको पता है दूसरा पूछ रहा है ये ऑप्शन क्या है? तो बताना, कुछ तो बताना पड़ेगा ना। Patriarchal mindset means to carry the family name in future, to have a grandchild. This is the mindset. यस रजत, पैट्रियार्कल का लिटरल मीनिंग यही होता है, बट उसमें और पैट्रियार्कल का मतलब होता है कि कोई मेल फैमिली को लीड करे। मैट्रियार्कल का मतलब होता है कि कोई लेडी लीड करे। बट दैट माइंडसेट वाज देयर, एंड मैट्रियार्कल और पैट्रियार्कल एज सच नहीं था वहां पे, पैट्रियार्कल था। तो माइंडसेट की बात कर रहा है, तो जो फैमिली के नेम को कैरी आगे करे, फॉर दैट माइंडसेट शी गेट हर सन रीमैरिड। ऑप्शन देखो, तुम क्या आंसर करोगे इसमें? व्हाट यू विल आंसर? क्या ऑप्शन होगा इसमें? लव एंड बिट्रियल, मेल चौवनिज्म, हाँ, मानक का तो कोई गलती भी नहीं था, लैक ऑफ लीगल सेफगार्ड फॉर ह्यूमन, लीगल की तो कोई बात ही नहीं हो रही है इसमें। ये स्टोरी किस चीज के बारे में सेंसिटाइज करता है? उसकी मदर चाहती थी फैमिली का नेम कोई कैरी करे, फैमिली का नेम कैरी करे, मतलब माइंडसेट क्या था उसका? मानव को सेकंड में नहीं करनी चाहिए थी, अब नहीं करनी चाहिए थी, सही बात है, लेकिन उसकी मदर ने करवा दिया। क्यों करवाया? व्हाट वाज द माइंडसेट हर्षिता? मदर का क्या माइंडसेट था कि फैमिली का नेम कोई कैरी ऑन करे, कोई ग्रैंड चाइल्ड चाहिए उसको। Okay, now many of you have given correct answer. See, the ultimate aim of government is not to rule or control, not to rule or control by fear, not to demand obedience, but conversely to free every man from fear, that he may live in all possible security. In other words, to strengthen his natural right to exist and work without injury to himself or others. The object of government is not to change men from rational being into beast or puppets. गवर्नमेंट का एम ही है कि गवर्नमेंट रैशनल बीइंग ही रहे, थिंक करे विथ रीजन, ठीक है, ना कि वो बिस्ट बन जाए और पपेट बन जाए। It should enable them to develop their minds and bodies in security and to employ their reason unshackled. Okay? Which among these are the premises, because we have to find inference. These are the premises, right? Which among the following is the most logical and rational inference that can be made from the above? The true aim of the government is to secure the citizen their social and political freedom. Okay, this could be the answer. The primary concern of the government is to provide absolute social security to all its citizens, right? To provide absolute, see, generally option having extreme words should be avoided. Absolute is the extreme words here, all is the extreme words here, right? The primary concern of the government is to provide absolute social security to all its citizens. No, this cannot be the inference based on this. Government is just saying here, government is saying here, uh, the person has a natural right to exist, work without fear. The person can employ his or her reason to think. Person should have freedom for his thought. ये सब बोल रहा है, तो एब्सोल्यूट ऑल ये सब अवॉइडेड होना चाहिए. The best government is the one that allows the citizen to enjoy absolute liberty in all matters of life. No, it is not the inference. Again, this option contains absolute all matters of life. No, this cannot be inferred based on this. D, the best government is the one that provide absolute physical security to the. No, this is not the answer. So obviously A is the answer. That can be inferred. That can be inferred. So one note you can write: option having extreme words should be avoided in most of the cases. No, Anuj, you should answer also. यस, इसमें पॉलिटिकल कुछ लिखा हुआ नहीं है. अगर आप अनबायस्ड होकर सोचेंगे, तो अनबायस्ड होकर सोचेंगे तो आपको क्या पॉलिटिकल फ्रीडम है. आपको तो फोर्स नहीं कर रहा है कि आप क्या करें. सोशल फ्रीडम है ना. यही तो बात कह रहा है. तुम्हें ऑप्शन में से ही कोई एक सर्च करना है सही. तो बेस्ट तुमको क्या लग रहा है? ठीक है, बेस्ट क्या लग रहा है? तुम क्या चाह रहे हो? पॉलिटिकल राइट एकदम मैच करना है तुम्हें. On the basis of the premises support given in the passage, what could be the probable inference, probable conclusion? Okay, try this question. First go through this. Just question is that of which among the following is the most logical and rational assumption that can be made from the above passage? Means on the basis of the passage, what you can assume or what you can infer, just like that, out of these four options. So first go through this. श्रेया शुक्ला जी, आपको पॉलिटिकल एंड सोशल फ्रीडम कब मिलेगा? जब आप रीजन के साथ सोचें, आपको गवर्नमेंट फोर्स ना करे कि आप यही करें. समझ गए? यस, दिव्यांश वर्मा. Only is also an extreme word. Note I have told that in option, if there is extreme word like absolute, all, only, always, that option should be avoided. Should be avoided. If you have better option than that. ये बोला मैंने. अनुज. Have you gone through this passage? Then I will show you the question. देखो ये पैसेज डिफिकल्ट नहीं है, ये पैसेज जो सामने है दिस इज इजी वन. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. ये डिफिकल्ट में नहीं आता है. Now I am showing you the question. Okay, now I am telling you answer. Most of you have given correct answer, but some of you have given incorrect also. Just see, on the basis of the passage, out of these four options, what can be assumed logically and rationally, and what can be inferred in simple language. See, our municipal corporation is understaffed, right? The issue of skills and competency of the staff poses an even greater challenge. Okay, urban service delivery and infrastructure are complex to plan and execute. Urban service delivery means waste collection, you can say cleanliness, like that. And infrastructure means electricity, water, whatever, are complex to plan and execute. Basically, the condition of municipal corporation is what? Understaffed, a skill issue, competency issue. These things have been written. Now they are writing urban service delivery and infrastructure complex to plan and execute. They require a high degree of specialization and professionalism. High degree of specialization and right for planning or execution. The current framework within which municipal employee, including senior management, are recruited does not adequately factor in the technical, does not adequately factor in the technical and managerial competency required. Cadre and recruitment rules only specify the bare minimum in academic qualification. मतलब जो अभी रिक्रूटमेंट हो रहा है उसमें टेक्निकल एंड मैनेजर कॉम्पिटेंसी का रिक्वायर्ड ही नहीं है, केवल सिंपल एक डिग्री चाहिए. बट ऊपर क्या लिखा है? अर्बन सर्विस डिलीवरी एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिक्वायर हाई डिग्री ऑफ स्पेशलाइजेशन प्रोफेशनलिज्म. Moving further, there is no mention of managerial or technical competency or of relevant work experience for employment. This is the case with most municipal corporations. They also suffer from weak organization design and structure. Organization design means hierarchy, manager, general manager, assistant manager, उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम है, तो execution में प्रॉब्लम होगा. So this is written. On the basis of this, what can be assumed? Right? What can be inferred? So you see the first option. The task of providing urban service is a complex issue which requires the organizational expansion. No, not expansion. It's not in the passage. All over the country. No. In the passage, it is written that there should be change in employing the people, people having technical knowledge, managerial skill, experience should be employed. That is there. This is not there. This cannot be assumed. Our city can provide better quality of life if our local government bodies have adequate staff. बिकॉज अंडर स्टाफ का प्रॉब्लम है, वहां पे लिखा हुआ है अंडर स्टाफ, एडिक्वेट स्टाफ विथ रिक्वायर्ड स्किल एंड कॉम्पिटेंसी. दिस कुड बी द आंसर. Okay, moving further, lack of a skilled staff is due to the absence of institution which offer the requisite skill in city management. Absence of institution cannot be assumed because nothing is written about this in the passage कि भाई कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है जो ऑफर नहीं करता है इस तरह का स्किल, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. दिस कैन नॉट बी एज्यूम्ड और कैन बी इन्फर्ड. सो दिस इज राइट एंड रॉन्ग. D, our country is not taking advantage of the demographic dividend to manage the problems associated with rapid urbanization. अब इसकी तो बात ही नहीं ऊपर हुआ है. डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड मतलब बहुत यूथफुल पॉपुलेशन है, कंट्री उसका एडवांटेज नहीं ले रही है. इसका ऊपर के पैसे से क्या लेना देना है? ऊपर के पैसे में यही बोला है कि भाई म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन अंडर स्टाफ्ड है, इश्यू ऑफ स्किल एंड कॉम्पिटेंसी है, किस तरह से एम्प्लॉयमेंट हो रहा है, कैसे होने चाहिए, ये सब चीज़ है. तो दे आर नॉट ए इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफरिंग दिस स्किल्स, ऐसा कुछ नहीं इसमें है. सो दैट कैन नॉट बी एज्यूम्ड. ऑब्वियसली बी इज द राइट आंसर. अरे 4 आंसर में से अपने आप अगर ढंग से पैसेज पढ़ते हो, यू कैन सी द आंसर. दिस कुड बी द आंसर. You have question, what you have to find in an answer, easily you can see. In most of the cases, you can see the answer. If you are able to understand the passage, easily you can see the right option. You know in this question what you have to find. I have told you, 4 steps. See the argument structure. Second step, see the question. Third step, set the goal. What you have to find in the option. Fourth, work from wrong to right. Eliminate the wrong option, get the right. You have to apply that. This is verbal ability. ये इसी तरह बनेगा, इसमें कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है. एंड वर्बल एबिलिटी रिक्वायर्स यू रीडिंग अ स्किल. आप पढ़ के समझ पाते हैं कि नहीं, राइट? आप कॉम्प्रिहेंड कर पाते हैं, एनालाइज कर पाते हैं कि नहीं, ये सब रिक्वायरमेंट है. ठीक है, ये सब आपको. और रीडिंग पैसिवली नहीं करना है. पैसिवली नोवेल नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं आप. न्यूज़पेपर में इंटरटेनमेंट वाला ब्रेकअप और क्या बोले उसको, बॉलीवुड का कुछ आप नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, राइट? एंड वो सब पैसिवली. एक्टिवली यू हैव टू रीड. एक्टिवली यू हैव टू रीड एवरी वर्ड, एवरी सेंटेंस. मीन जस्ट टू कॉम्प्रिहेंड द पैसेज. आप 2 लाइन समझे, 3 लाइन नहीं समझे, तो अगर ऐसा इशू है तो आप क्वेश्चन का आंसर गलत करेंगे. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग, है ना? 2 लाइन समझ के बाकी लाइन को समझने की कोशिश ना करें. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरी लाइन, देन यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर, राइट? ये सब ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. सो फर्स्ट, रीडिंग ए स्किल. यू आर रीडिंग एक्टिवली, नॉट पैसिवली, एंड you are comprehending the things, understanding the things, analyzing the things, right? And then picking up the right data to answer the question. Picking up the right data, right? And then see the questions, what you have to find in option, and then you have the answer. Okay? रजत तो कहाँ से लाएगा? जीएस में तो पूरी दुनिया ही पढ़ते हो. दुनिया से बाहर का चीज थोड़े पूछेगा. ब्रेकअप एंड पैचअप. ओह, या पैकअप. हाउ टू इम्प्रूव रीडिंग स्किल. अभी तक बचपन से लेकर अभी तक क्या किए? रीडिंग स्किल डेवलप तभी होगा जब आप एक्टिवली पढ़ेंगे. ऐसा नहीं कि पढ़ रहे हैं यहाँ और देख रहे हैं कहीं और, समझ रहे हैं कहीं और, कंसंट्रेशन एकदम खराब है. नहीं. एक्टिवली रीडिंग मीन्स यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द थिंग्स. यू आर reading each sentence, each word actively. You are trying to understand every sentence. Then choosing the data which is relevant to the question. ये सब एक्टिव रीडिंग होता है. आप 2 लाइन समझ लिए, 3 लाइन नहीं समझे, तो फिर कहाँ आंसर करोगे? गलत ही करोगे. तो ओके. सी दिस. एक बच्चा बोल रहा था कि सर पैसेज काफी लॉन्ग लॉन्ग आते हैं एग्जाम में. कोई लॉन्ग नहीं आते. देख रहे हो कैसा पैसेज आता है एग्जाम में? यू कैन सी 2-3 passages could be long out of total passage. I have already told you these things. Active reading requires higher level of concentration. You should be concentrated while going through the passage. ठीक है, आप एक एक लाइन, एक एक वर्ड ढंग से पढ़ोगे तभी आप कर पाओगे. सर, हाउ टू इम्प्रूव वोकैबुलरी. अर्चिता तिवारी. It takes time. If you read anything, you don't know the word, go through the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, see the meaning of the word as a noun, as a verb, as an adjective. Everything is written in Oxford Learners. एक वर्ड को तुरंत उसका मीनिंग केवल मत देखो, उसका यूजेज देखो, धीरे धीरे समझ में आएगा. एंड यूज दोज वर्ड्स इन योर राइटिंग और इन योर स्पीकिंग, देन यू विल लर्न दैट वर्ड. अगर 2-3 वर्ड भी रोज अगर सीखते हो 2 3 वर्ड्स, नॉट आई एम सेइंग 10 वर्ड, 2 3 वर्ड्स अगर रोज आप सीखते हैं तो इन अ मंथ 100 वर्ड्स, इन 2 मंथ 200 वर्ड्स, 1500 वर्ड्स का भी अगर तुम्हारे पास हो गया नए नए वर्ड का, तो बहुत इम्प्रूव हो जाएगा। बट अब यू हैव टू लर्न हाउ टू सी डिक्शनरी, और ये थोड़ा हैबिट बनाना पड़ेगा कि वर्ड नहीं पता है तो एटलीस्ट डिक्शनरी देखा करो। ऑक्सफोर्ड लर्नर्स, डोंट सी गूगल, you should have Oxford learners. Now here, a word has been used is the most logical corollary to the above passage. Now you don't know this कि भाई ऑप्शन में क्या खोजना है. Most logical corollary means just extension of the argument. You have to find that option which continues the argument. I repeat again, you can write for logical corollary, you have to pick that option which continues the argument. Simple. Okay. You have to find that option which continues the argument, which is part of the argument. You have to find that option. रीडिंग स्किल इंप्रूव करने के तुम्हें थोड़ा टाइम देना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू गो थ्रू द डिफरेंट थिंग्स, यू हैव टू इंप्रूव योर वोकैबुलरी. रिया वर्मा, क्रेच मीन, क्रेच नहीं जानते तुम? मदर अपने बच्चे को कहाँ रखता है, छोटे बच्चे को? मगर मान लो वर्किंग मदर है तो बच्चे को कहाँ रखती हैं? मुझे लगता है, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो दिस वर्ड मास नेस्टिंग? डू यू नो मास नेस्टिंग? Have you heard about olive ridley turtles mass nesting phenomena on eastern side of India, on eastern coast? Have you heard? Aryan Yadav, what you are writing? On eastern coast of India, the olive ridley turtle, thousands of that come out of the sea and they lay eggs together. They lay eggs together. That event is called mass nesting. That event is called mass nesting, right? You must have heard about this olive ridley turtle. Have you heard? They come out of sea in thousands and all of them lay eggs together. That phenomena is called mass nesting. Okay, so that is mass nesting. Okay, now I am telling you the answer. Write about logical corollary in the note that continuation of the argument. You have to find that option which will continue the argument. Okay. Flamingo. Flamingo is a type of word, a type of bird, right? And flamingo in large flock in the wild are social and extremely loyal. Okay, flamingo क्या है? Social है. They interact among themselves and they are loyal to each other. They perform group mating dances. Parents are very fond of their chicks. Chicks मतलब अपने बच्चे का बहुत very fond of. Gathering them into creches for protection. जहाँ पर बाकी लोग बच्चे रखते हैं सारे फ्लेमिंगो वहीं पर रखते हैं. Gathering them into creches for protection while both males and female fly off to search for food. So this argument say about the nature of flamingo. They are social, they are loyal, they are fond of chicks. They gather their chicks into creches for protection and then they fly off to search for food. That is there. Now, which among the following is the most logical corollary to the above question? That is continuation of the argument. Mass nesting in all species of birds is essential to ensure complete survival of their offspring. This is wrong. They have not talked about mass nesting or related like this. All species, no, there is a particular example of flamingo. All is extreme word anyway. Essential, extreme word anyway. Complete survival, extreme word. So this is not the continuation of this option is not the continuation of the argument above. This is not right. Only birds have the capacity to develop social behavior and thus can do mass nesting to raise their chicks in safety. Only birds, how you can say? Might be some other animals, no? So, not the continuation of this option is not the continuation of this argument. C. Social behavior in some species of birds increases the odds of survival in an unsafe world. Yes, this can continue this argument. D. All species of birds set up creches. How will I know if this argument is concerned? How will I know all species of birds set up creches for their chicks to teach them social behavior and loyalty? No. So obviously C is the right answer. social behavior in some species of birds increases the odds of survival in an unsafe world, obviously. So, continuation of the above argument, C is the right answer. C is the right answer. Okay. Now, try next. Go through the passage. See, the question is that of is the most logical, rational, and crucial message that is implied in the above passage. Means passage is giving what important message that you have to find in the option. Now go through the passage. These are all PYQ. Once you are through passage, tell me, I will show you the question and option. Now, D is the right answer. I think easier one. Should I explain this or no? Easier one. Should I explain this or no? Okay, no. Okay. Most of you are saying no. Okay. Try this question. This has been asked in 2016 to 2016. Do this. Critical means most important. Important. Tajia Praveen, that extreme word was in you can say that is there. You can take that as the right option because every time option having extreme word उसको avoid करना था ऐसा नहीं कि reject ही कर देना. But in the last question that is there that is the answer and that is in conjunction with the passage option. Every time extreme word रखने वाले को reject नहीं करना है. Most of the time we reject. That's why I have told you avoid it. Okay, most of you have given correct answer. As see, we have to find the most important message conveyed by the above passage. As we look to 2050, when we will need to feed 2 billion more people, the question of which diet is best has taken on new urgency. the food we choose to eat in the coming decade will have dramatic ramification, implication for the planet, obviously Earth. Simply put, a diet that revolves around meat and dairy is a way of eating that is on the rise throughout the developing world. World will A diet that revolves around meat and is a way of eating that is on the rise. That is on the rise throughout the developing world. World will take a greater. This will take just a minute. Okay, world will take a greater toll on the world's resources that than one that revolves around unrefined grains, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. Right? This is not the world. Okay. Now it's okay. Simply put, a diet that revolves around meat and dairy is a way of eating that is on the rise throughout the developing world will take a greater toll in the world's resources than one that revolves around unrefined grains, nuts, fruits and vegetables. तो क्या मैसेज दे रहा है कि जो भाई एनिमल प्रोडक्ट के अराउंड जो डाइट रिवॉल्व कर रहा है वो रिसोर्स पे ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस डाल रहा है than the food which revolves around grains, nuts, fruits, and vegetable. Right? Okay. So, what is the critical message conveyed by the our increasing demand for food sourced from animal puts a greater burden on our natural resources. This could be the answer. B. Diet based on grain, nuts, fruits are best suited for health. No, this is not the message. See, human beings change their food habit from time to time, irrespective of health concern. This is not the message, important message given by this. Because background is that 2 billion more people to feed them, resources are limited. So what type of food we should take? They are talking about this in the argument. D, from a global perspective, we still do not know which type. No, we know. We can see from argument. So A is the right answer. A is the right answer. A is the right answer. Clear? A is the right answer. Now see this one. Which among the following is the most logical assumption that can be made from the past? Based on this, what we can assume, what reader can assume, what reader can infer. Right? Once wind means जो बच्चा मदर का मिल्क छोड़ देता है, बच्चा मदर का मिल्क एक टाइम पर छोड़ देता है, दैट प्रोसेस, दैट word for that is weaned. The children once weaned no longer needed to digest milk. Okay, most of you have given correct answer. You know the question, what you have to find, we can assume from the options on the basis of this or what we can infer. Simply put, all human digest mother milk as infants, but until cattle began being domesticated 10,000 years ago, children once weaned no longer needed to digest milk. So all human digest mother's milk, okay, as infant. बट 10,000 10,000 ईयर से पहले मिल्क का और कोई सोर्स नहीं था. ठीक है, कैटल डोमेस्टिकेटेड मतलब लोग पालना शुरू किए 10,000 ईयर. उससे पहले एक बार मदर का मिल्क छूट गया फिर मिल्क कभी मिलेगा ही नहीं. तो चिल्ड्रेन वंस, वही लिखा है, ऑल ह्यूमन डाइजेस्ट मदर एज इन्फेंट बट अंटिल कैटल बिगन बीइंग डोमेस्टिकेटेड 10,000 ईयर बट चिल्ड्रेन वंस विल नो लॉन्गर नीडेड टू डाइजेस्ट मिल्क, क्योंकि मिल्क मिलना नहीं था 10,000 10,000 ईयर से पहले. एज ए रिजल्ट they stopped making the enzyme lactose which breaks down the sugar lactose into simple sugars. अब जब क्या हुआ कि वंस मदर का मिल्क छूट गया और मिल्क आगे मिलना नहीं है तो वो एंजाइम बनाना बंद कर देता था, क्योंकि वो एंजाइम जो था दैट ब्रेक्स डाउन शुगर लैक्टोज इनटू सिंपल शुगर, बिकॉज उसकी नीड नहीं थी तो वो चेंजेस बॉडी में आ जाता था, एंजाइम बनना बंद हो जाता. आफ्टर ह्यूमन बिगन हर्डिंग कैटल इट बिकेम ट्रेमेंडसली एडवांटेजियस टू डाइजेस्ट मिल्क. जब कैटल डोमेस्टिकेट करना शुरू किया, हर्डिंग करना शुरू किया, तब तो जरूरत पड़ गया, मिल्क मिल गया एक्स्ट्रा सोर्स, तो उनको डाइजेस्ट करने की जरूरत पड़ी. एंड लैक्टोज टॉलरेंस इवॉल्व इंडिपेंडेंटली अमॉन्ग कैटल हर्डर इन यूरोप, द मिडिल ईस्ट एंड अफ्रीका. तो इंडिपेंडेंटली लैक्टोज टॉलरेंस डेवलप हो गया. ठीक है, क्योंकि मिल्क का सोर्स मिल गया. Group not dependent on cattle such as Chinese and Thai remain lactose intolerant. भाई इनके पास मिल्क नहीं था, मतलब कैटल हर्डिंग नहीं करते थे, कैटल डोमेस्टिकेट नहीं करते थे, तो इंटॉलरेंट ही रह गए. ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट व्हाट कैन बी इन्फर्ड, राइट? About 10,000 years ago, the domestication of animals took place in some, yes, that's true, but in what can be assumed? Obviously, this is there and already written. Okay, so this, okay, you can consider as the answer. Now, see the next one. A permanent change in the food habit of a community can bring about genetic change in its memory. Yes, this could be the answer, because mostly there is a talk about the change in this lactose tolerant and lactose intolerant. Lactose tolerant people only are capable of getting simple, so no, only are capable. This is not justified in the passage. People who are not lactose tolerant cannot digest any dairy. No, we, on the basis of this argument, we cannot infer these two. So out of A and B, obviously, which is the best answer? A is the best answer. You have to find the best answer. So B is the best answer. B is the best answer, right? So this is the answer that can be inferred on the basis of the argument given in the, right? Next, in the above statement, author implies that, implies means what author is trying to say. What author is trying to say. Trying to say. Author is trying to say. What author is trying to say. Okay, majority of you, most of you have given correct answer. Okay, and see the conceptual difficulty in national income comparison between underdeveloped and industrialized country are particularly serious because why a part of the national output in various underdeveloped country is produced without passing through the commercial channel. मतलब विदाउट टेकिंग इनटू अकाउंट बाय द गवर्नमेंट. अगर टैक्स नहीं पे करेगा तो ब्लैक चैनल हो गया. तो कैसे पता चलेगा कि नेशनल इनकम अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्री का क्या है? तो कंपैरिजन इज डिफिकल्ट. दैट्स व्हाट ऑथर इज ट्राइंग टू से. ओके, the entire national output produced and consumed in industrialized country passes through commercial channels. Okay, but entire word is not justified. It may be true in the real world, but it is not what author is trying to say. So you cannot say this is the answer. What author is trying to say? Author is trying to say there is a difficulty in comparison of nation. Why? That author is trying to say. The existence of a non-commercialized sector in different underdeveloped country renders the national income comparison over country difficult. Okay, this could be the answer. Author is trying to say this. See, no part of national output should be produced and consumed without passing through commercial channel. This might be true in the real world, but this is not author is trying to say. D, a part of the national output being produced and without passing through commercial channel are a sign of, might be true in the real world, but this is not what author is trying to say. Author is trying to say comparison is difficult. Why? The reason is many of the output is not passed through commercial channel in underdeveloped countries. So obviously B is the answer. Author is trying to say this. B is the right answer. B is the right answer. Got it? Clear? कॉमर्शियल चैनल मतलब जो गवर्नमेंट के नज़र में हो. अंकित आनंद यस, जहाँ पर टैक्स देता हो. कॉमर्शियल चैनल का मतलब यही है ना कि जिसको गवर्नमेंट अकाउंट में लेता हो. नो 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 ए what author is trying to say that you have to find in the option. Author is trying to say what? Author is trying to say comparison is difficult. Comparison between national income is difficult. Why so? Author explained that. Devyansh Parma. And also, apart from that, because it is not written in A, it is not written. It is not in comparison. Nothing is said about comparison. Now, obviously, entire is also there. Right? Clear? Am I clear? Okay, Harshita, no, no, I have another class also. Okay, I think now you are able to do most of the questions. Now you are able to do most of the, and you have understood the things, right? How to attempt questions, short passage. I think so. I think so. And rest depends on the practice, how many questions you practice, right? Rest depends on that. Okay, that's all of my class. Thank you. Thank you. Still you have any doubt? Very good, Harshita. Very good. पीडीएफ तो अपलोड हो ही रहा होगा. अरे PYQ तो अवेलेबल है, ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल है. Yes, Irfa, this is short passage. Yes, long passage consists of two, three paragraph, four paragraph. This is a simple one paragraph passage, half paragraph passage, I can say. Thank you. Irfat, we will do long passage. We will do long passage. Most probably tomorrow itself. Irfat. Thank you.